This is Kardec Radio for Teens. Important life-changing events as seen through the Spiritist perspective. Now it's time for real-life dilemmas experienced by teens themselves. The Diaries of Belinda and Alex with Carol Correa.
Hello, dear friends. It is wonderful to have the blessed gift of your company. Once again, thank you for the gift of your listenership. We truly appreciate your presence here through the radio waves. And as you may remember from last week, we are getting to a very exciting and beautiful, truly life-changing turning point in Belinda's journey. Last week we learned that not only did she celebrate a beautiful birthday of an adorable elderly lady with whom she became friends, but also our dear Belinda became engaged to her friend and colleague Alex. You may be wondering, oh goodness, this sounds like a fairy tale, like the ones that we watch in romantic movies that make us sigh and sometimes even tear up, right? But you know what, dear friends? In reality, our beautiful Belinda got to where she is due to her own effort in self-overcoming. If you remember, in the beginning of our encounters here through the radio waves, we saw Belinda through a much different light. We saw her as a little bit of an insecure person. We saw her at times very uncertain of the steps that she was taking. We saw her fearful of sharing her identity with others. We saw her even practicing more isolation than togetherness. We also realized, dear friends, if you remember, that Belinda at times felt ashamed of who she truly was. But with a lot of effort on her part and by writing on her very own diaries, Belinda was able to overcome her own shortcomings. She started giving more room in her heart to self-respect and self-love rather than fear and resistance. This is the true turning point that Belinda experienced, the courage to change herself. And what was that change once again? The shift that she experienced in the way that she perceived herself. At first, she perceived herself as a less than worthy person, as a person that was lacking, as a person that was inferior to others, as a person that should hide herself. And later, through much reflections in her own very own diaries and through the process of asking herself questions and meditating upon her own experiences, our dear Belinda was able to very gradually let go of the paralyzing feelings of fear and replace them with feelings of self-respect, self-worth, and self-love. This is why, my dear friends, our guide and model, Jesus, advised to all of us to love others as we love ourselves, since he knew that by learning to love ourselves, by learning to exercise self-respect, and by working on our self-worth, by reminding ourselves that we are true children of God as we progress as immortal spirits on earth, we are better able to serve others and we are better able to open our hearts to the beautiful surprises that life has in store for us. As we reflected upon since our very first episode All of us, as reincarnated spirits on earth, have a plan which is often referred to in our beautiful Spiritist philosophy as a reincarnatory plan. Just as a reminder for myself and for all of us, what exactly is a reincarnatory plan? We learn by reading the books of André Lewis, specifically right now. A book that comes to my mind is the book Missionaries of Light, that our reincarnatory plan has an outline of the goals that we want to learn or to practice for ourselves as multi-millennial spirits. What does that mean exactly? That means that we probably have visited Earth as a school. We have been enrolled in the school of our earthly home hundreds of times, or maybe dozens of times, throughout many centuries, perhaps 1,000 years. Perhaps we have been coming back and forth to Earth as spirits in progress many times throughout a whole period of perhaps 1,000 years. Who knows? So for every time we enroll in the school of life, according to our very own spirit doctor and spiritual realm reporter Andre Lewis, we come with a plan. That plan outlines the particular goals that we would like to learn, practice, focus on, and acquire for that particular reincarnation. So our reincarnation often has a central theme. What is that theme? It's the particular lesson that we agreed for our own progress that we would focus on by returning to Earth, that we would practice, that we would strive to improve ourselves on. For Belinda, dear friends, it seems as though one of her main themes is overcoming fear and replacing fear with love and respect for herself and for others. This is why, as the shift began to happen in Belinda's life, she was able to move away from isolation and to practice more togetherness, to move away from denial and practice more acceptance, to move away from shame and practice more love. So all of the heavy feelings that she experienced seemed to be in a continuum, in a spiritual, emotional continuum, so to speak. So it's not as if the two light and heavy emotions are opposites. They are just part of the same continuum. And it's natural for us, dear friends, just like for Belinda, to experience the heavy emotion and to move towards the lighter emotion as we work on ourselves. Why? Simply because we know the purpose of our reincarnations. One of the main purposes, anyways, is for us to improve ourselves emotionally and spiritually. So it's only natural, dear friends, as André Luiz showcases so beautifully in the book Missionaries of Light, that life offers us opportunities to practice the very lessons which we decided to focus on. And it is only natural too, as children of God, that we become more and more able to put those skills that before were a little bit challenging for us into practice. And we see that transition between heavy emotions to lighter emotions happening very clearly in Belinda's life as she accepts to live a life together with Alex as her fiancé. But we know, dear friends, that even though the story may sound, or her life experience may sound at this point like a fairy tale, it isn't truly a fairy tale, because for Belinda to get here, she had to work a lot on herself. So, of course, all of us may achieve the opportunity to be more fulfilled on our personal lives. But that is not a result of simple magic, because nothing in nature changes overnight. What we learn through a Spiritist philosophy is that our level of fulfillment and realization changes and improves as we make efforts towards improving ourselves. So there is a direct relationship between self-improvement and our level of fulfillment. Isn't that beautiful, dear friends, to know that by making efforts to open our very own hearts, we are then better able and more likely to experience joy in our lives? How beautiful is that? It couldn't be any different, right? Because of the laws of action and reaction, and because of the logic of the universal laws that also govern our lives. Beautiful, right? So now we are getting ready to celebrate yet another significant, incredible, very unique milestone in Belinda's life. It is her graduation. Yes, I know a lot of you may be dreaming of that moment yourselves, or may have experienced that beautiful moment already, so you know how much it means to be part of that celebration. And that celebration in and of itself, dear friends, is the very result of your own effort and your own self-improvement. So yes, our divine creator always allows us to reach our goals when we are able to improve and make efforts towards achieving those goals. How beautiful is that? The divine creator is so loving and so abundant in her ability to give, that the more we make efforts, the more we receive her love in return. So today we are going to look at Belinda's beautiful victory as she celebrates the end of a important phase in her life. So let's hear it from Belinda herself. Dear diary, the day has finally come. Can you believe that? No, I can't believe it. It's like a dream. You won't believe it. And I was asked. Can you believe it? Belinda. I was asked to be the valedictorian. Can you believe it? My gosh, I've never given a public speech in my life. It's so nerve-wracking. I can't believe my friends chose me. Little me, can you believe it? Oh my gosh, I can't believe they trust me. But you wouldn't believe what happened. I spent the whole night writing the speech and trying to memorize it. But then I get there and everything changes. It's like a higher power took over me and got me to say things completely differently than what I have planned. Can you believe that, dear diary? I ended up, instead of thanking my professors and thanking everyone who supported me in my internships, I ended up thanking my parents. Yeah, me, can you believe it? Me, who used to be ashamed of who I am, I ended up thanking my parents for everything that they have done for me, for all the nights when my mom stayed up cooking to sell her beautiful, delicious dishes for catering purposes in order to help me to pay for textbooks. I thanked my father for the extra hours that he put in working overtime as a cleaner to help me save money for my college expenses. I even thanked my sister. Can you believe it? Betania, first time in my life I said thank you to her for the gift of her companionship. I mean, seriously, not even I saw that coming. So, dear diary, you won't believe it was the most beautiful experience. After I finished, I was crying in public. Can you believe it? And I looked around and everybody else was crying too, right? I guess misery loves company. No, just kidding. We were crying of joy, of course. Can you believe it? And I got a stand ovation. Oh my gosh, I will never forget that moment. And the smile in Alex's eyes and face just made me feel like, wow, I can't even put it into words. So, wow, dear diary, I really want to thank you for the gift of your companionship. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have come this far. Thank you, dear diary. You're truly my BFF. You rock. Bye for now. So, dear friends, you see in Belinda's own words her culmination of her efforts as she truly strives to self-overcome her limitations. And what I mean by that is overcoming her fear of public speech, overcoming her fear of exposing herself, overcoming the fear of talking about her background, overcoming the fear of acknowledging her parents, overcoming the fear of being judged by others. Belinda definitely did it, dear friends. She publicly acknowledged all of those aspects of her life that used to be unspeakable for her. She no longer hid any aspect of herself. And because she spoke from the heart, her loving heart, the love that irradiated or emanated from her heart, and her sincerity and her openness was a gift for everyone else. So isn't it beautiful, dear friends, to know that we have beautiful gifts to offer to ourselves and to everyone around us, for as long as we strive to respond to life with love rather than fear? All of us have been given, dear friends, many beautiful and divine gifts. So we hope that through Belinda's own experiences, we are all able, including myself, to believe in the divine power of love, which we ourselves embody as spirits in progress on this earth. To help us reflect upon the importance of self-overcoming and self-improvement, I would like to share with you today a passage of the book Living Spring. For those of you who may not know, the book Living Spring is a message book from the Spirit Emmanuel, our dear beloved medium Chico Xavier's mentor. The book Living Spring is a collection of inspirational messages which we can basically read at random or in order, just to help ourselves to find the treasures within. This is one of the strategies that we have available to reflect upon ourselves. And as a gift for all of us, I would like to share one particular message with you called Farmers. If you have the book or are interested in looking for it, the message number is 31, and we will share the message from beginning to end with you at the end of the show. But for now, I would like to read one particular segment to you. The segment goes as follows. Nobody can obtain excellent results in their lives without putting forth an effort, devoting the best they have to offer to the work of the good. So Emmanuel, dear friends, compare us in this message to farmers. And we know that in order for trees to bear fruits and in order for a farmer to harvest, it is really important that the farmer be consistent, devoted, and that the farmer spends time nurturing the seeds which she planted so that they can grow strong. So what I would like for us to reflect upon is on the very seeds of love that have been planted within our hearts as we are spirits in progress reincarnated on earth, and pray so that the divine Creator who illuminates all of our hearts may inspire us to look inwards, may give us courage to self-overcome, may give us the power to find our very own spiritual talents, and may give us the joy of serving, so that we may share with others the much which we have received. And so be it. I hope that your week is filled with blessings, and we all at Kardec Radio hope that you find in your heart the treasures that are already within. Many, many blessings today and always.
And now an inspirational message from Living Spring by the Spirit Emmanuel, psychographed by Chico Xavier. Farmers. The hardworking farmers should be the first to enjoy the fruits of the harvest. Paul. There are farmers of every kind. There are those who buy the land and develop it using the efforts of hardworking tenants, without ever touching the soil with their own hands. There are many farmers who abandon the plow to rust, crossing their arms and blaming the rain or the sun for the failure of the harvest. There are farmers who keep a watch on their neighbors' crops but pay no attention to their own. Many speak disproportionately about 1,000 things that really do not matter, while destructive worms wipe out the fragile plants. There are many who complain that the soil is incapable of producing anything, but they've neglected giving the blessing of water and fertilizer to the field that's been entrusted to them. Many complain of headaches, colds, or other physical indispositions, and they lose out on the sublime opportunity to sow. Nature repays all of them with disillusionment, difficulties, failure, and disappointment. Nevertheless, the farmer who works hard soon receives the blessing of a full barn. And so it goes with the farming of the Spirit. Nobody can obtain excellent results without putting forth an effort, devoting the best they have to offer to the work of the good. Writing in a time of landowners and slaves, of superficiality and favoritism, Paul of Tarsus does not say that the wealthier sower or the one favored by Caesar would be the actual owner of the harvest. But he did rightly say that the farmer who devoted himself to his obligations would be the first to enjoy the fruits of the harvest.
This has been Kardec Radio for Teens. Thank you all for listening.